Welcome to my little chat, possibly complete with gremlins today. I managed yesterday to break my fan-dabby-dozy new camera, which really is not a good thing to do. For most things it's not a good thing to do, is it really? But definitely not when you're due to go live and also do some tutoring the next day after you've broken it. Anyway, Amazon, although they're delivering it, I haven't done so yet. So I'm set up on my little laptop, which is completely different to working on the PC. So I'm anticipating a few gremlins as we go through this today. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about our development, why we choose to do it, why we choose to work with the people that we choose as our mentors or trainers or group leaders, whatever you want to use as a term, and how do we choose them. And not only that, but how much of a part are we willing to play within this development? Are we willing to devote the time and effort required, or do we just want to do a quick fix, long weekend, and there you are, Bob's your uncle and you're now a medium? Because if that's the plan, then you're going to be needing to do a lot of quick fix weekends, and you still probably won't have learned that much, apart from how to empty your bank balance very quickly. And I know that might sound a bit controversial, but really, to be fair, I don't really mind if it does, because there is no quick fix in the work that we do. There isn't a quick answer. There might be simpler ways of doing it, and there are, because most of us actually find them and find the ones that work with us and for us. But the constant need to train, to practice and to develop never ends. And if you come to a point where you believe that you know all there is to know, then you need to actually go back to your very first development group and start again. Because we never stop learning, we never stop understanding, we never stop having new experiences. And I think personally that that's as it should be. I don't think there is a quick fix, I don't think there is a quick answer. And I also feel that depending on who you talk to will depend on which part of that development could be the one that they want to focus on with you. You may have it in your mind that you want to be a clairvoyant and you want to see spirit, but what does that really mean? Does that mean you want to look up and see a full-bodied apparition and just have a conversation like you would with somebody that's still in their physical body? Does that mean you want the TV screen thing going on in your head and all the things coming across it so that you see them there? Or do you mean that by using your clairsentience, you can build up the impression and image within you from the energy of the spirit communicator? Now, I'm the latter, I do the latter. I don't have little pictures, I haven't got whispering voices. I work on the full experience of sensation that comes to me from the spirit world. And that, for me, has always been enough. And when I say it's always been enough, what I mean by that is what we need to be doing. If in doing that and developing that, then the other clairs come into being with you, how wonderful is that? But let's get grounded in reality. Let's get grounded in what we're doing. And by grounded, I don't mean putting your roots down and sitting still and getting yourself connected to the earth and connected to the spirit. I mean, let's get grounded. Let's keep our feet on the floor. None of this airy-fairy space cadet thing bouncing about all over the universe like Flash Gordon. Let's get serious and let's get real about what we're doing. And the reason why I'm talking about this today is I've recently had contact with somebody who literally is what I call an eternal student. And by that I mean they do one course after another course after another course after another course with absolutely no direction at all, and with no idea what they're going to do with it when they've learned it. But they must have spent an absolute fortune on long weekends, weeks, fortnights, retreats, one-day classes. It must have cost them a fortune over the years, and they're still confused about what they're doing. So what would that say? Well, to me, that would say that they haven't actually been, within all of those things, they haven't actually been working with the right tutor. What they've been working with is somebody with the best one in the world who's trying to do their best, quite possibly. But it hasn't been the right tutor for them. And sometimes the trap that people can fall into is you've paid to come on this course, you've paid to do this, and sometimes paid a lot of money. Therefore, I've got to tell you how wonderful you are. Now, for me personally, I might remind you of just how wonderful you are, but I won't tell you you can do things that I don't feel you're ready to do. I will talk to you about the potential for those things with development, but I won't say, there you go, you've had a good 48 hours, thank you very much, it's been lovely to be with you, now off you go and be a medium, because that's not how it works, not at all. We have to continue our growth, we have to continue gaining the knowledge that we can use. You know, doing a crash course excuse me, in Reiki healing doesn't make you a Reiki master. Doing a weekend course in reading tarot will give you the very basics, and I mean the very basics. It does not make you a tarot reader. It doesn't make you an adept in the art of tarot. It means you're on the bottom step and now you need to go and learn more. You need to practice more, you need to expand and enrich your awareness. And that has to come from you, the student. So as a student of this work, one of the most important things that you need to be aware of and need to look at is just how dedicated are you? And by that I mean, how much time are you willing to give it? Are you somebody that's going to find the time to go to your circle, spend an hour and a half at circle, go home and not do anything with it for the rest of the week? Or are you somebody that's going to practice at home, to continue that development? You know, I often give my circle members homework, and I do my one-to-one students. They always have homework, because there is no point in spending an hour and a half with your tutor every week and nothing more. You have to dedicate the time, you have to dedicate your intention, and you have to be really honest about it, because if you're not able to do that because you're time limited or whatever, then it isn't the right time for you to develop. It's not time. As much as you may feel that it's time, if you can't find the time in which to do it, then it obviously isn't. So put it on the back burner and wait until the conditions for you are right. And I feel that that is one of the most important things about your development. Am I able to commit the time and effort? Am I going to stick with this? even though some weeks I really feel like I'm not getting anywhere? Or am I going to give up at the first hurdle? Which way is it going to go? And only you can answer those questions. The rest of us can't. Only you can. I can talk to you when I meet you, or when I'm talking to you online, about the potential you have and where it could go. But I can't tell you that you're going to do it, because only you have the answer to that. I don't. And it's really important that you decide on that before you even start to look for a mentor or a tutor or a class to join. And the other thing I have noticed, and I'm going to put that in here now, I'm going to say that in here now, is often you find that groups of people will come together, groups of friends have decided, oh, this will be good fun, let's go and do this. And amongst that group, there might be one person who has an amazing ability that could be trained and developed so that they could work with and for spirit. And the other 3 or 4 that have come with them think it's all a joke. So what's happening there? Well, the one thing that's happening is the circle's disrupted by the people who aren't there for the right reasons. So they would need to be removed. So then you've got that one person who really does have that wonderful ability, and it might not be the one who actually originally decided it would be a good idea to go. It might be the one that didn't think that they should really be there, but they are. So what are they going to do? Are they going to continue to come even though their friends have been told, do you know what, this is not going to work for you? Or are they going to stop coming because their friends can't come? Now, it would be a shame to lose somebody because they've made that decision, if we can't all come, I'm not coming. But if you're truly dedicated and you feel within your heart that it's the right thing for you to do, then wouldn't it be the right thing to choose that over what your friends want to do? Because, you know, this work is not a social evening. We become sociable some of the time. And I say that lightly, but not. Because sometimes, because of our empathic abilities, we don't want chatter around us. We don't want idle conversation. We just want to sit quietly. So, usually we put out a bit of a vibe, which more or less says, I need my space, thank you. And most people will respect that, even though they haven't actually recognised it as what it is, but they will sort of like smile from a distance, like you know they've seen you, but they won't really approach you. Some people who can't see past their own self and energy will just come blundering at you, and that's fine. Now for me, if that happens to me, I just very quietly have a polite and brief conversation with them and then say, if excuse me, I just need to, and I will step myself out of that situation. So, and that is dedication. That's dedication to my need to be in that energy because I'm about to work. That's me having a boundary that says, this is my workspace, this is my work energy, and this is my work time. And these are all things that you have to actually learn, because it's not in the handbook. It doesn't say in the handbook, be polite to people, but you don't have to speak to them. Because often we feel, because they come to watch us work, or because they come to train with us, we have to be their best friends for that time being. Well, do you know what? We don't. We're workers for spirit. And yes, of course, we should be polite and friendly and approachable. But they don't own you. They don't own us. We have the right to create the boundaries we need so that we're able to work the best we can. The other thing is, of course, if you're working in public, the last thing you want to do is hear people talking about their situations. Because if we pick up on that later, who's to say they're not going to say, well, she heard us say that? You don't know, do you? So you have to think about all of these things. And these are all things you need to learn within your development process. Now, choosing a mentor or a teacher is probably next to your own dedication and development. Who you choose to work with is an extremely important thing, probably one of the most important choices. Now, I believe we come across many people on our pathways of learning, and we can learn something from everybody that comes across our path. And I always say to people, even if you learn what not to do, you have learned a very valuable lesson. So let's look at how we choose a tutor. First of all, your tutor needs to be able to speak in words that you will understand, vocabulary that you're comfortable with. If you have somebody that sounds like a high-flying university professor, and you're speaking in a language and terminology that you're really not that familiar with, because remember, you're only just learning, and then because you don't actually understand what they're talking about, it's not really sinking in, because you then become intimidated by what appears to be this extremely knowledgeable person with all these fancy phrases. So you're frightened to say, could you explain that a little bit simpler for me, please? I don't understand you. What do you mean by that? Because, don't poke the bear. The bear knows best. So that would be a bad start. If you meet somebody that can speak your language, speak to you in terms that you are comfortable with, because a lot of what you learn, it will be the first time you've experienced it. So it needs to be understandable. You don't need to be fighting to understand it before you can start to work with it. What's been said to you needs to be in simple terms. And I'm not saying you can't go into it in depth, because you can, but it needs to be spoken in the right vocabulary. And it's things like that that people forget to look at. You look around and say, oh, that tutor's been here and there, and they've done this and they've done that, and that, oh, they'll know everything. Well, do you know what? They maybe do. They maybe do have a great basis of knowledge. But are they able to communicate it with you? Think about that. If you meet a tutor and something tells you that they're not really for you, then you should listen to that immediately, because they're not really for you. And it doesn't matter how much you think you might like them and how approachable they are, the energy isn't quite blending properly. So there will always be that little bit of an edge, and you will learn something from them, but it won't be that strong connection of an understanding that you need to create between you. Because, as tutors, we don't teach you. We navigate with you as you're on your pathway. We help you to understand the mechanics of how mediumship works, but then we help you to explore and find out how it works for you. So if you've got somebody telling you at your first ever class that you are absolutely fantastic and wonderful, and in 4 weeks you can start doing readings, that is not somebody you actually want to be going to, because all that's doing is feeding your ego. It's not helping you develop. It's telling you you're absolutely wonderful and marvellous. What do you need to know? Just go and do it. Well, I'm sorry. You need to know the basics. You need to know the mechanics of. You need to know how you work. And I know I sound a bit like a stuck record with this, but it's so, so important. You're not going to give somebody that's just passed their driving test today a massive, great, big lorry, truck, whatever you want to call it, 16-wheeler or however many wheels they have these days, and expect them to be able to navigate it right across the country, park it up, deliver a load and go home safely. You're not going to expect them to do that. So it's the same with our mediumship. We don't come out of the gate knowing everything. We learn from our guides, we learn from our inspirers, we learn from our tutors, our circle leaders, and others who are on the same path that we are on. The capacity for learning is never ending, and nor should it be. So you have to really think about where you want to take this work, and are you actually prepared to put in the work it takes? And I know that a lot of people are. That's why there are so many wonderful workers for the spirit world. But I've also seen a lot of people fall by the wayside over the years because they thought it was going to happen really, really quickly. You know, after 30 odd years of working, I am still learning. And probably each week I experience something either in a class or in a reading that I've not experienced before, that it's come in a different way. And that gives me such joy and such passion and excitement. I am never, ever bored by the Spirit. I am every day amazed by the work that we do, by the loving connections that are made, and also the simplicity of this work, because it is a simple work, it's a simple way of life. We remove the clutter, we remove the noise because we have to. We develop in these quiet moments. That's not to say we can't work in a noisy environment, because believe me, we can. Once we've done enough training on how to use our energy properly, absolutely. Shouldn't have to, but we can if we have to. But to get there, we need to be able to find this quietness, this stillness within ourselves, which comes with the dedication of wanting this to happen, of accepting that this is the pathway I am choosing. There are lots and lots of people that offer courses in all aspects of mediumship. And there is somebody out there, I feel, for all of us, if we're willing to listen. There will be, however, some who will tell you whatever you want to hear, because it will keep you coming back and it will keep them earning money. And I'm sorry if that sounds quite nasty, but that is the way of it. It happens. There are also some who sit quietly with a wealth of knowledge and they share it only when they're asked. And that's their choice. They've chosen to be that way. They might not always have been that way, but you know, even as mediums sometimes need to step back a bit, recharge, or decide we've done enough of that work, now we're just going to be with the people that find us, and that happens. And then there are others like me and other people around the world who have decided that the teaching paths are the paths we want to take, that that's where our passion is, that we maybe have a chance to help and influence the next generation coming through, because although we live forever, that's our soul that lives forever. We don't stay on this earth forever doing this work. So, you know, we've got to bring up the next generations. And with the modern world, sometimes some of it gets lost a bit in translation, and I believe that the basics should be the same for everybody. And then they should be adaptable for this modern world, which is how I approach when I create workshops. And that said, on Sunday of this week, there is a mini seminar that I'm taking, and it's about how we use colour in our everyday world and how we use it when we are developing, and more importantly, when we are working. Because colour has so much to tell us. It's a language all of its own. It's an inspiration like no other. And I know that I've got already a number of people that have registered. However, I believe there are 6 places left. I'm purposefully keeping the group small so that you can have the full experience and full benefit of that time in Zoom. I will do a little bit of a talk about how it is going to work for us, what we're going to do with it, the concept of working with colour, Then there's going to be a beautiful meditation that I use, which allows you to experience and feel the colour. And it will hopefully inspire your awareness. It will open your sensitivities somewhat. And then you're going to do a little bit of work with colour, experiencing it, feeling what it means for you. And we will maybe talk a bit about the generic meanings. But you know, we all associate with colours in different ways, and they want to look at how we can promote that to work with us. And then at the end, there'll be a little bit of a question and answer session. So if you think that you would like to do that, please contact Michelle at Resonant Essentials to register your interest, or your booking, should I say. She will then send you the links required, and we will take it from there. All I will require is that you bring yourself along and bring yourself pad and pen, etc., so you can take notes if you want to. I feel very strongly that we're going to have a fantastic day. Of course I feel that, why wouldn't I? I'm creating it. Of course I'm not going to come along and do something I don't have any value in myself. But I just feel that if you are really interested in development, take these opportunities if they present themselves. It's $20 US, which works out at around 15 British pounds or something like that. But certainly get in touch with Michelle. As I say, I believe there are just 6 places left now, so it would be lovely to have you with us. But you know what, if you don't, then that is absolutely fine too, because I might not be the person for you, somebody else might be. But if you've been thinking about it, we're already on Wednesday, we're going to need to know by Saturday, so 6 places left. If you're going to do it, get in touch with Michelle. And also keep your eye out for other things that we're going to do, because Resonant Essentials, as well as myself, are all about bringing education and understanding and opportunity to grow. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. That's what we're all for. So thank you for listening to me. I hope that you've been able to see me clear enough and hear me well enough while I'm on my little old laptop, which is giving me complaints now. It's telling me that it really wants to go back to sleep. So I will see you soon. Please take care, everybody. Have a fantastic day and a fantastic week. Stay safe. Bye bye.